It's late, been a very, very busy morning. I hope you guys have had a great morning as well. So we are going to be talking about NIO, Tesla, all the exciting things that are happening in the market right now, right? Let me share this on Twitter. Come join me live. Let's talk about NIO and Tesla and more. There we go. All right. Hey guys. Hope you're having an amazing afternoon. All right. So let's get these stock charts up. And if you all are new to my channel, if you are just finding out about me, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you all will know when I do go live on YouTube, right? I do this every day at 12:15, roughly, give or take a couple minutes. And today, really looking at NIO, the electronic car sector, XPEV. So keeping all that in mind, hey, NIO just had earnings. They have pulled back a fair amount today. They seem to have hit their peak just 3 days before earnings and starting to see a bit of a pullback. It did bounce off of the moving averages, however. So we could see that the big volume was back here. When we had that spike, we hit 52.50 and then a pullback almost up to 55, but really that 52.50 sticking out in my eye right over here, and it was not able to hold above that level. Let's look at the indexes overall. So let's get into the SPY, right? Look, we've got this on the shorter time frame. We have this wedge here, and I drew this from the wicks. I know usually it's just the bottom of the candles, but I'm using these wicks, right, to see, hey, we've got this. Let's do a quick measurement right here to right here. All right, that's $4.52. So if we break down from over here, roughly $3.59, and we drop down $4.92, we'll call it $5, right? Then we're looking at $4.92. We're looking roughly back at 353 area, 354 area for a bit of a pull down. Now, when we look at it over on the left, over here, that would kind of make sense, right? We'll pull back and bounce off of this area right here. Let me get the chat up again. Sorry, I had to shrink it for a second. Hey, John. Thanks, Christy. Yeah, you're long NIO, Arky. Okay, well, I don't know where you got into NIO, but I'm going to give you my perspective on it. So, yeah, let's look at Tesla, right? I said, hey, if we close above 466, we are going up, right? That was the big make it or break it. When we look at it on a weekly chart, we have a bit of a W, right? We had this resistance, pulled back, up, pulled back, and surge. Now, we just need a little bit more volume here. Also, when we look at it on the monthly, then we will see that we have taken out all of last month. Look at that. Now, if we go above and we take out 502, right, we are $22 away. Today, amazing gains, $36 from close yesterday. Really happy that I added to my position. And hopefully I help you guys in profiting. Good morning, Michael. Where are you coming from? To be morning. Are you in California? So there's my target. I know it's lofty. You know, it might be a scenario where we go up here, we pull back, we go up, we pull back. So maybe that's 5 months away. So 5 months away from November 17th, we'll say April 16th. April 15th, we'll call it tax day. I'm anticipating that. We will see what happens with the market, what happens with electric cars, with Biden, everything like that could play into part of it. So you can see here that the $20 increment on the daily is really proving fairly strong. We rejected that 480 now. Also, the high of this candlestick right here was 478.99. We took that out. So the next high for us to take out will be this high right here of 514, and then just above that to 502, almost 502.50, right? My sound is wonky, Momo. Is everybody having sound issues? Is that better if I turn up the gain on the mic? I know there's a bit of a delay. And please remember, if you guys are watching someone live trading, there is a delay. Roughly 15-second delay. So just remember that if you're ever watching people on YouTube trade. Long NIO from 44. All right, so let's look at the Qs as well. So we've got the Qs, we've got this area, we're on the monthly over here, we're almost taking out, but look at how it has not been able to break 295. That's really been the strong resistance. And let me bring it back to a 45-minute chart on the right-hand side over here, and we'll get off of that. Okay. So we have this upper level. Yeah, that's the one that I have, Summer. I don't know why it's different today. I have some great rockstar distortion going on. Uh-oh. I'll have to fix that. I actually have a couple media spots today as well, so I will have to do mic tests. So I really appreciate you guys letting me know that you're feeling some issues with the mic. It's weird. I haven't done anything different from yesterday. Okay, it sounds like a megaphone. Let's turn the gain the other way. How is that for you guys? Is that better? Can you guys hear me the better? We'll get it worked. Actually, I did change it. Correction, I did a podcast yesterday and I changed it. So, second podcast with Mish Snyder. Yes? All right. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Thanks for the feedback. So, looking at the Qs, right? Minus these highs up here, which were really outliers that we broke down below. If we close up above, oh, it's picking up the fan noise from the computer. It's because it's right next to it. All right, well, I'll work on that. Thank you, Summer. I appreciate that. So here, we're testing this trend line here with the volume. Let's pull it back a little bit more. Even, all right, so we came up and now it's bouncing off of this area right here. You see 293.25. Well, we might go back there, but look at what we bounced off of. If there's anybody new to watching me, this is the 425 EMA. I love it. It works on multiple different time frames, and 15 minutes, 45 minutes, love it, as well as a daily. I have it on my chart and it works. I don't know how it does, but it works. So this might be just an upthrust test candle right here because it's spiked, and if we're not able to hold above this trend line, this was shorts had their stop just here and just above the high of 293, got taken out, probably had to cover. They were shorting down here and potentially had their short stop up here and got taken out. So that could sometimes be that spike up and then it simply gets taken down. We're also looking a little overbought on the stochastics over here. RSI, it's not looking that that strong or that weak. It's right in the mid area, 57. So we keep butting up against this trend line, seeing that without any confirmation of a breakthrough, without strong volume to the upside. We had strong volume, however, it was up above us and we still haven't broken above it yet. So this might be that reversal point in which we have descending volume from here as we're going up. Will it drop? Let's also look at Apple and Microsoft. So on my list today, Apple was as a potential short. Did have a little short right here, and now we're back up above on the upside. Looking at it, let's look at on the 45-minute chart. So on the 45-minute chart, we have really been, first we were testing the 50 simple moving average from above. So here we were, it was the upper boundary, then it was a lower boundary. So it's somewhat dancing around that 50 simple moving average on the 45-minute chart. However, it's tested it in the past two 45-minute candles and it's sold off here as well. So looking to see, are we setting up for further downside here. So if we have this here and this here, I'm going to turn off the left wick. Left, cancel that. Let's go over here. Right, so I want to know where it started. So we have this new trend line, and now we're somewhat heading down. Will it be a continuation to the downside here below 118.35, right? This is the anchored VWAP from, if I click on it here, it's going to highlight what day. So this goes all the way back to the 3rd of November. So that's our anchored VWAP from Brian Shannon, thrown on there from the opening 9:30 candle on the 3rd of November. What happened the 3rd of November? Election day, right? And so that was big volume. Will this end up continuing to hold this anchored VWAP? Or once we break below, we know that all of that volume is going to be dropping, right? Potentially that was all selling volume from November 3rd. We had this big gap up on the 5th of November, and we have two gaps. One gap was filled already. However, the gap from right here, 114, back down to 111, we still have that gap. So if we come down here and we break below 115 area with higher volume, we're likely going to be heading down. You're in a short from 120.50 yesterday. Yeah, as long as, in my opinion, hey ASIF, Arky, that as long as it's respecting this downward trend line and it doesn't have a close above it, I would say, hey, this is potentially setting up maybe for a rounded top right here, right? And maybe we're going to see it go and come back down, test this trend line, and then test the 111 area over here. We'll see. It's patience right now. Sometimes if there's a lot of people selling at the top, that it will take longer because they're going to try to get all of their money into it or out of it, whatever they're trying to do. You know, get a large short position on or get rid of their long positions and then go short, whatever it is. Somebody likely knows something. And Apple and Microsoft are such big players. What's really got my attention is all the Form 4s that I saw just after the election. It looks like we have a bit of a curved top here for Microsoft as well. That is also going to affect the Qs. We have dividends coming out tomorrow, or that's today, excuse me. So there might be some selling in relation to that. It's a 56-cent dividend, and yet we're down an extra 70 cents. That's not very good confidence in the stock. In fact, we might see it drop down further because it's not closing up above that 56 cents. All right, so let's go to the list today. First one on the list, Tesla, the beast mode that it is. As long as we can close above 466, I think that's 467.50 actually over here. As long as we close above that, really liking this for continued swing trade to the upside. I am, full disclosure, in it. Got in it back over here and then added yesterday to my position. All right, Target as well is in amazing beast mode after earnings. Think about it, Target is in that same space as Amazon now with online sales, delivery to your house, hour delivery, and it seems like the market really liked the earnings report, and it came up, found resistance at 168 pre-market, now came up and found resistance roughly at 171 and tested 172 area. Let's see if this will be able to hold the 170 going into close tonight, or above 169 really. Holding at 170. If it could hold 170, potential move. This might close up high at the high of the day today for all-time highs. And Mara. So Mara, interesting with Bitcoin, Mara and Riot running in sympathy with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin tends to be pulling back on the day as well. Let's check out Riot. Riot is weaker, and let's see what's happening with GBTC. GBTC is still up above. This is actually the strongest one. It has not dropped down below the 21 EMA over here. And I know I took off some of my position back here at 1880, but here's the beauty of not taking all of it off. The rest of it can grow. So I did take some profits, letting it grow, waiting to see, hey, is this really going to break below this 21 EMA right here, roughly at 1990? Yeah, you know what, Ace, if I'm looking for that too. So I don't know, I'm checking that out. Also on the list, we had Pfizer. So Pfizer is now 95% effective, only after the news that Moderna is 94% effective. Interesting, right? Well, it's really been testing the upper bounds here. We had the big spike up with the news. This is the vaccine, drop down, bounce up. Maybe there's more people selling here. It looks like it's not able to hold above 37.20. This big volume that happened earlier in the day is selling off of that 37.20 area. So looking to see if it's able to break above that. If it's able to break above that, then likely continue to move to the upside. However, it would really need to close above 37.50 for me. Boeing had a nice surge today. However, it's dropping down. Why do you think this is dropping down, guys? What do you think this is? This was a gap up on the rumor that Boeing is going to be approved, right? Or then they finally come out and it's sell the news. So the rumor and then sell the news. Looks as if it likes to bounce off of the 50 or just above it right here. Yeah, so usually I think, Donald, we're going to see that happen. That with whichever vaccine is the hot one for that day is going to be up, the other one will be down because there's a flow of money. However, logistically, you know, if you're transporting something at negative 92 degrees, yeah, Tesla to the moon. Where's the moon, Fong? You gotta have the moon up there, not the Tesla around the world, right? Well, Boeing Max, that I know from pilots, it's more structural than just a simple software fix. Meaning, they pretty much have to completely redesign the aircraft because the way that it's designed, it is created to stall based on where they place the wings and center of gravity for fuel efficiency. So knowing that, it's not likely that we will ever see the Maxes get approved to fly without a complete redesign. There's probably a reason why that CEO left, right? He said, sayonara, bye-bye, I'm out, because he made the bad decision of allowing the Boeing to give themselves FAA certification in-house as opposed to actually getting it certified. All right, Apple, we already went over Apple, right? And it's up a little bit on the day, 34%. NIO taking a beating from the last week. You know, we've had such a great upward run with NIO. Now, got to pull this back. It's testing this lower trend line here. Tested it once, almost, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Each time it tests here, good afternoon, Guillermo. Buenas tardes. That this is going to run to the downside, potentially. Potentially, if we break down over here, 43.50. I'm going to have to run in just about 10 minutes, guys, because I do have a China TV interview coming up at 1 o'clock, so I have to be conscientious of that. All right. Carnival looks almost like a Head and Shoulders right here. Ah, qué bueno. ¿A dónde? ¿De dónde en España? Right here, we have 18, 18.50, and 18, right? So let's see if this is able to break down below $17. It's on a bit of an angle right here. So, oops, didn't lock it there. If this drops below 17.40, then we could see that this really, Marcia, nice. Okay, one. Let's see. Alguna vez yo, I can't think of it in Spanish right now. I've never traveled there. Solamente a Madrid y Barcelona. Right, so pulling back down here, 1740. I would watch that area based on this trend line for an angled head and shoulders to drop to the downside. Then we also have GDRX. That has a bit more potential move to the downside here. This was an IPO, right? Good RX. I'm imagining, I was thinking RX pharmaceuticals, but it's not. It is in the internet arena. However, this looks like it had based out yesterday at roughly 33.80. Today we're lower. Today it's set up that low at 33.50. If we start to see volume coming in, this is now the second day after earnings. We might see tomorrow's the third day after earnings and we get a base in and maybe new buyers will be coming in. Would really need it to break above $37 for that confirmation, even up a little bit higher. Right here we had that base at 37.06, then 35.80, then 33.80, and now 33.50. So looking for it to have that rounded bottom to take it to the upside. Lows as well. Lows had a massive drop today, and now it's looking like we might be setting up for an H, right? The market doesn't like whatever happened to the earnings. I don't know what happens to it. Right here, up, potential setup. If we drop below 148.50, watch out, we could see another 2 to 3 days potentially to the downside. It's a discount card if you don't have a prescription card. Okay, cool, thanks, John. That's where the RX comes in. So very, very nice. And Bat Scientist, REITs, I don't usually trade REITs. Here's the thing. I've been doing research, right? I started looking at bankruptcies. I did do the homework last night, 11:30 at night. I'm looking and researching bankruptcies in the U.S. This is what I do for fun. And I see that actually the bankruptcy numbers are not that bad. They're not increasing at a super crazy rate. In fact, let me pull it up really quickly. And I have it in my downloads on my phone because I was studying it there from AACER. So right now when we look at it, they actually have the filings per state. And they break it down to monthly filings as to how many filed in each state each month. So when we look at it, total filings for January were 58,000, 56,000 for February, 62,000 in March, 38,000 in April, 39 in May, 42 in June, 42 in July, 39 in August, 39 in September, and 40 in October. So slowly starting to see that bankruptcy filings are going up, but not that fast. They're going up much more quickly in Canada than they are in the US, which is interesting to see. I don't know why it won't let me get rid of this. All right, so let's look at KOD, quick, and then YVW, and then I will take one more after that to look at. Okay, so KOD, Kodiak Sciences, had a nice breakout above 131. And you can see, sure enough, that's when all the volume came into it. So that was probably when shorts were getting squeezed, more volume came into it. I don't know if this is low float. The range on these days makes me think that this is a bit of a low float stock, just a higher priced low float stock. Actually, let's go right over here. It doesn't want to give me the data. There we go. Check it really quickly, KOD. View all companies. All right, I'll deal with that later. Doesn't want to work for me. It's extra slow. So YVW. All right, YVW. Were you talking about the airport identifier, John? Because I don't see YVW as a stock. And let's look at silver and gold. So silver, we're not really moving up and down. We're still going sideways. Gold is down a little bit on the day. However, if we break below here, our biggest volume was bouncing off the bottom right here. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I just saw that now that you said sorry. 5 billion cap, 40 million float. Awesome. Thanks, Asif. So gold right now, we are, if we look at it on a weekly chart, right? Is this going to be the risk trade that's going to protect people? We now have this new high spike right here, and on our weekly chart we had this area right here that it really followed, came up. Okay, this would be actually that second test of that trend line after it broke, and that would be the lower risk entry for short. So I'm actually feeling a bit more bearish on gold. Here's the thing, if the market pulls back, if we look back at 2008 to 2011, 2008 down, it dropped 30%, and then it went up 300%. So potentially this will drop back down to 164, happens to be the weekly 50 simple moving average, the resistance area over here on the left, and then we might see it catapult higher. There might oh look, now it's dropping. I swear, every time I start talking about stuff, then all of a sudden, who's selling this? Who is selling gold right now? That it ends up, I totally got distracted by the price action, that we might see that this pulls back going into next week, and then we surge higher into the first week of December, and then we might have a drawdown into the end of the year. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for the end of today. Check me out on China TV. I will post the link when it's up. Ticker Talker live roundtable at 3:30, and also going to be on TD Ameritrade at 5:05 today. So I will share all those links as I have them on Twitter if you guys would like to see me there. Have an amazing rest of your afternoon. Carpe Profit, seize those profits one trade at a time. And if you are new to my channel, please hit like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. Have a great afternoon.